Later this month down in Carlton, Minnesota, a few famous musical acts like Vince Neil from Motley Crue and Quiet Riot will hit the stage at Black Bear Casino.
They're also going to be joined by Great White, the famous band behind songs like Rock Me and Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
I got a really cool opportunity to sit down with their guitarist, Michael Lardy, talking with him about being back in our neck of the woods, his love for sound engineering, and his long-standing love for Vikings football. Kind of crazy. Michael, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's been exactly 5 years from the date that you're going to be playing at Black Bear Casino Resort that you're playing here again. So back, I think it was 2019, March 29th. So are you excited to be back here in the Northland? You've been up here a few times.
Totally excited. We love Minnesota, and we played there so many times that it's been a very storied career with playing up there, and the fans have always been so supportive and into the band. They get the band, and that has a lot to do with how well we do.
In your class, in Great White's class, late 70s through maybe the early 90s, what bands from that era are also some of your favorite bands that you like to listen to or play with even?
It was like Aerosmith, Alice Cooper. I didn't get into some of the metal stuff until a little bit later, like The Priest and the Scorpions.
I would call you a genius when it comes to musical prowess, but also your love for producing. You produced most of these albums, correct? And not only Great White, but other bands as well. Talk about producing and why you love that so much compared to playing, and which do you like more, playing or producing?
When I moved to Los Angeles from Sacramento, where I grew up in 1979, when you get to a new area or that you don't really know anybody, I just moved down by myself. I didn't know a soul, and I had been to engineering school when I was about 16 years old because I always wanted to have some say in how my music got recorded. So at least having the knowledge of it would benefit us, benefit myself in the future. So as it turned out, that is the type of work I could get right away.
I hope I was reading the correct bio. Did I see, even though you're from the West Coast, you're a Vikings fan?
Oh my God, long-suffering Minnesota Vikings fan. I'll tell you, since 1969, and here's the crazy thing, my dad, he was a huge Packers fan because of Vince Lombardi, so all my brothers completely glommed onto the whole Packer thing, and to me, I had to be different. I was the black sheep, and I said, no, I dig Bud Grant. I dig the Purple People Eaters. So that's how long I've been a Vikings fan.
We like you that much more now.
Yeah, you're even cooler.
Seriously, how awesome is that?
I'm sure Hunter told you, but he's a rock star himself.
I don't know about that, but I played a cover band around here, and I don't know. It's pretty awesome talking to you today.
Oh, that's awesome that you play, and it's so much fun. Even if we weren't at a point where we were as successful and still able to make the living that we are, I would still want to do this in any form. Like I said, when I was young, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, and I have been lucky enough, you guys, to be that guy that's never had a regular job. I would continue to do this in whatever form I could.
Clearly, just the love that you have for music, the appreciation that you have for what you do, it comes through when we're talking here, and I'm sure it comes through on stage.
Just want to say thanks to all the fans, and we'll be there real soon, you betcha.
You betcha, yeah!
Hey, go Vikes.
Woo!
Rock me! Rock me! Roll me through the night. Rock me! Rock me! Roll me through the night. Rock me! Rock me! Roll me through the night.
Nice.
We all gotta go. go to that, I think. That'd be a ton of fun at the end of the month
Yeah.
here. You get this kind of idea about like what a rock star should be, and obviously he is a rock star. But he is, at least his personality, the exact opposite of what I would picture a rock star is. Just the sweetest man, a ton of knowledge on everything music, and very humble about his band. I mean, they are fantastic. So
He seemed very down to earth.
Yes.
I had never actually heard of the band Great White. Maybe I was living under a rock or something. But his interview and all his words and his passion made me very interested and want to go see that show. So
there's still
seems like a good
tickets.
time.
Maybe we should go.
Perfect.
Yeah, let's go.
And also a self-taught musician, as we learned.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to be rocking all these years since, too. What a cool guy.
Before YouTube, you had no videos on YouTube, so you just had to
True.
pick it up and learn it yourself. Very impressive there.
Yeah, it should be a rocking good time. We'll talk a little bit more about this coming up after the break. But